imagine this. The man who called Jerome Powell stupid to his face might soon be sitting back and sipping a Diet Coke in the Oval Office with full control over the Federal Reserve. And Bitcoin? Well, it's bracing for what could be the most explosive bull run of our lifetimes.
We'll have to pay for years. We'll be paying for him. And I said to him, listen, there's no inflation. He says, but maybe there'll be some. That's true. I said, if there is some, what you do is raise the rate. I'm okay with that. You raise the rate in 2 years from now or in a year from now. But because the rate's high, we have to pay more for debt. It's pretty equal. In other words, if it's 4%, it's 4%. If you drop it a point, you'll pay 3%. So it's fairly equal, not necessarily, but fairly equal. So we're going to end up paying maybe 2 points or 3 points more. 3 points would be about $900 billion a year. Because of this very average mentally person. He's an average mentally person. I'd say low in terms of what he does, low. Low IQ for what he does, okay? Wait, so instead of paying $900 billion, we don't want to pay 900 just because he doesn't want to lower the rate. I said, if there's inflation in 2 years or 3 years or 1 year from now, you raise the rate and you take care of the inflation, among other things. But he's probably a very political guy, I guess. I don't know. I think he's a very stupid person, actually. All right, one more. Let's go.
That wasn't some offhand joke. That was President Trump telegraphing his war with the Fed. And now, insiders are saying Trump is ready to take the Fed over. Absolutely unprecedented. If that happens, wave goodbye to the illusion of independent monetary policy and hello to rocket fuel for Bitcoin. But don't take it from me. Arthur Hayes warned this exact play was coming, and it's the setup for a Bitcoin bull run into 2026. Strap in, because today we're breaking down Trump versus Powell, Hayes' prediction that is playing out right now, central banks tightening the screws on their citizens, and why Michael Saylor is laughing all the way to the Bitcoin bank. Send it! Let's start with the top story. Forbes headline: Trump's going to take the Fed over, Bitcoin braces for serious price shock. Larry Kudlow, one of my favorite boomers, and one of Trump's closest economic allies, just said it plain. Maybe he's older than that, I don't know, but he's still cool. President Trump's gonna take the Fed over, as he should.
Trump was furious at Powell in the first term,
right,
for jacking up rates for no particular reason. Anyway, it's sort of a sad tale. If it weren't such serious business, it reads comedically to some extent.
Yeah,
people yelling at each other and oh my God. But no. Look, here's the bottom line is President Trump's going to take the Fed over. As he should.
This isn't speculation. This isn't whispers. This is the president's team. Kudlow was a former economic advisor, and they're admitting what we've known for years. Fed independence is a myth. Powell called inflation transitory. He jacked rates out of nowhere. He made political moves, not economic ones.
Mike's got a long way to go.
Yes, sir. So, President, are there things the chairman can say to you today that would make you back off some of the earlier criticism?
Well, I'd love him to lower interest rates. Other than that, what can I tell you?
Trump knows it. He's been angry since 2018, and now Powell either bends or breaks. And when Trump's push for rate cuts, when his demand for liquidity gets answered, that's rocket fuel for Bitcoin. Forget the old world of central bank games. We're in a new world. A sitting U.S. president openly taking control of the Fed. What happens when the markets start to price it in?
All right, well, let's move to the Bitcoin market, and then we'll pass it back to Bonnie for some macro questions. I just, you talked about this a lot in the press, but just give us a sense of the timeline of Bitcoin to $1 million by 2028. You said 250 by end of the year. Is that still your timeline, or have you changed things
so I
since?
think that we get to 250,000 by the end of the year. It'll be bumpy along the way, obviously, but that's sort of my end of year price target. And then $1 million Bitcoin is what I just got off stage talking about how they're going to print, I think, in the realm of $9 trillion-ish between now and that period of time. And that is, Fannie and Freddie, the government support entities that are allowed to create mortgages in the US, they will print $5 trillion. You will have probably up to $1 trillion purchased by the banking system due to supplemental leverage ratio exemptions and purchasing things that the foreigners are selling. And then I think the banks are going to because they now don't have to hold all this equity capital against their treasury book.
Yeah.
They can lend more into the real American economy. And so you're going to see the amount of loans going to manufacturing firms increase, which is, again, that's an increase in credit, and that will make its way into crypto as well.
When the Fed printed a limited QE back in 2020, all asset classes went up. It wasn't just Bitcoin. So this is good news for Bitcoin, what you just said, the thesis you laid out, but it could be good news for everything else, including stocks, gold, potentially even bonds as well. Why would Bitcoin in particular outperform everything else in a
So Bitcoin
liquidity?
has a fixed supply. It's obviously a much smaller market in terms of market cap. And so if you have a lot of things chasing a very small door, then the price goes up on the margin. And so that's why Bitcoin has been the best performing financial asset in the last 15 years.
Arthur Hayes nailed it. And yeah, basically every president gets the monetary policy they want. For Trump, that means lower rates, more spending, and stimulus level liquidity. And what thrives when the dollar is being debased? Bitcoin. The Fed is set to cut rates this week. CME FedWatch shows 94% odds of a cut. And apparently this guy, Mr. Wall Street, reading the tea leaves, has spotted a golden cross. And the last time that happened, it appeared to be a bottom signal. And Bitcoin ripped 30 to 40%. We'll see what happens. The bears are screaming cycle top. But history says Q4 squeezes shorts until they cry uncle. Maybe Hayes was onto something when he said this bull run isn't over. It's just getting started. You guys ever wonder why Fed officials are terrible economists? Why they always get it wrong? Well, it's because they don't learn real economics. They learn Keynesian garbage in Fiat universities.
For example, what are you studying? Can I ask?
Economics.
Okay, so what do you think of Thomas Sowell?
I actually really like him. I bought his book, Basic Economics.
Great.
He's one of the first economists I
Do
really
they teach it here?
Not yet, but also I've only been
Okay,
for like
so now
1
you're proving
year.
my point. If you're studying economics and they're not teaching Thomas Sowell, you're not getting an education, you're getting an indoctrination.
Well,
and you're
no.
being scammed.
Okay.
Milton Friedman, do they teach Milton Friedman here?
No, but I'm aware of him.
Okay, Ludwig von Mises,
I'm aware of him, but no.
Murray
Well,
Rothbard, hold on.
No.
F.A. Hayek,
No.
Frederick Bastiat.
No.
You're not getting economics education, you're getting an indoctrination. You should know every single, it's not your fault, but what you're paying for or going into debt for is not a real economic education. Those are the people that theorized about free markets, which is a legitimate school of thinking, monetarism, private property rights, and the fact that I'm not criticizing you, I'm criticizing the institution that's famous.
More Macy's and less Marx, damn it! That's how we win. Well, the eventual outcome of fiat returning to its intrinsic value of zero is inevitable regardless. And here's the proof. This is what stablecoins, CBDCs, look like for those that are confused. It's centralized fiat garbage. Nothing changes besides now you're not just getting debased, you're being coerced in an entirely new way that gets Klaus Schwab and Larry Fink all hot and bothered. There's an image for you. More on that topic Thursday, but really, look at Thailand. 3 million bank accounts frozen overnight. Look at Vietnam. 86 million erased or forced into biometric rails. Governments are seizing control of money, and they're doing it at the database level. If your wealth lives in their system, it's not yours, it's theirs. It's really not that complicated. That's why we scream Bitcoin. That's why you self-custody. And that's why you call our friends over at the Bitcoin Way. They'll walk you through multi-sig, self-custody, privacy, how to run a node, and tools that keep you sovereign when the fiat system pulls the plug. Don't wait until it's too late. Book a free 30-minute consultation today using that link in the show notes. Need cash but don't want to sell your Bitcoin? Well, Ledn is the global leader in Bitcoin-backed loans, issuing over $9 billion in loans since 2018. And they were the first to offer proof of reserves. With Ledn, you get custody loans, no credit checks, no monthly payments, and more. Visit learn.ledn.io/simply to learn more and get 25 basis points off your first loan. All right, time to bring it home. But first, look at our likes.
3 or 4 times, maybe.
I gotta pump those numbers up. Those are rookie numbers in this racket.
Okay, now contrary to the bears, Bitcoin has been in a bull market since 2009, and superinflation is already here. You know what historians will say in the future? As soon as Bitcoin appeared, USD collapsed. Roll it!
Marty Malamy had the first trade, which is 0.1 cents per Bitcoin in 2009, late 2009, and now it's $100,000 plus per Bitcoin. That's 100 million X. That's actually insane. You know, did you see my thing on super Bitcoinization?
I don't think so.
So normal inflation is defined as like 2% a year, right? Which is like 0.2% a month, right? And hyperinflation is defined at 50% a month. But that's a big gap. What if you define superinflation as 5% a month? Okay. So if you take the 100 million X appreciation BTC to USD, and you take the 16 years over which that appreciation happened from 2009 to 2025, and you work out the compounding rate, it worked out to about 10.41% devaluation of the dollar against Bitcoin month over month, every month for 16 years.
That's insane.
That's insane, right? You know what that is. I mean, you're a business guy. So that means superinflation is already here, right? Bitcoin is it's this incredible thing because it's invisible. People really don't understand what it means for something to go up 100 million X in 16 years. It means, like, I think I've said this before on other podcasts, but it's like, future historians will have to tell children that Bitcoin did not arise overnight. Like, it wasn't just like a step function that just went up. That it was actually like, there are lots of setbacks and stuff in the middle. But on like a historical timescale, it's just like, as soon as Bitcoin appeared, the dollar collapsed. That's like what future historians will say.
And breaking! Strategy buys another 525 BTC for $60.2 million. And the Texas Teachers Retirement Fund just disclosed $25 million in Bitcoin exposure via MicroStrategy. And here's a number for you. Institutions now hold 12.3% of the total Bitcoin supply. Guys, this is it. The president is taking over the Fed. Global central banks are freezing their citizens' accounts, and through it all, Bitcoin just keeps winning. Every dip, every signal screaming higher. Oh, and before we sign off today, Mining Disrupt 2025 is coming in hot. See the future of Bitcoin mining up close in Dallas, Texas, November 11th through the 13th. The biggest names in the industry, cutting-edge rigs, Bitcoin and AI integration. The signal you won't get anywhere else. Grab your tickets today and use promo code SimplyBitcoin for 20% off, and we'll see you at the news desk. And this week, we're not slowing down. Wednesday, gonna be a hot one. We dive headfirst into the spam wars inside Bitcoin itself. And Thursday, we expose a report that says we may be marching straight into the WEF's endgame. You don't want to miss it. And hey, I hope you guys enjoyed this one. Let us know what you think down below, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and give us a pamp, and set those notifications for the best in Bitcoin news delivered to you daily. I'll catch you all next time. Love you guys. Peace.
If you prefer to go down with the ship, you.